Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, July 2nd. Yep, I almost said Friday. And we're looking at the last day of the market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader. And for a day that started out very, very promising for the bulls, kind of ends pretty crappy, All the news stories and everything else, they'll be pumping up how the market was up, but the job number and blah, blah, blah. But here's the facts. We gap open higher, first gap for the month of July, to the upside, right? We get above last week's high. So now, after having an inside week down, we had an inside week up. We take out the other weekly high to get into the large gap, which I don't have on here anymore, only to absolutely fail. Now, here was a very, very telling sign that something was amiss. With the indices so strong, and the indices was strong, they closed at their lows of the day, right? We closed just about 0.5% higher in the NASDAQ, ES, and the Dow was even less than that. But here was at the time, we were all up over 1%. And what transpired in B period was a very, very noticeable nuance. And what was that? B took out A's high. So one time frame up. Came down the first time. I actually went long. I'll go over my trades in a minute. Got long because I said the odds of us having a reversal bar with the market this strong probably aren't that good. So I got long, went up, got out, came down again. And I did get long again, only small. I said, I'm out if we get back below. And that's exactly what happened. And we had a reversal bar to the downside. Now, that's kind of a telltale sign that the buyers aren't that strong. Now, the gap was still holding, no doubt. But we did go down. C period, we actually had a chance for a trend day down 2 times. With the indices up, we almost had a chance for a trend day down. Think about that. And we ended up with an afternoon rally high. We never really saw the opening again after C period till K. We failed at I, J, and then L. And we one time framed down from the afternoon rally high to go out with a price probe to the downside. We had a price probe every day this week, upside and downside. Downside. So a pretty weak finish, right? Inside week down failed for the bears. Inside week up failed for the bulls. We got to a very visual level on the weekly, basically a 3-week top, and failed at it. So a lot of things to talk about. So as far as my trading, I didn't get long in A period at all. I actually took 2 shorts versus that weekly high of 314.50, and both of them worked out nicely because I thought we would defend last week's high, the bears, and they did initially. So 2 trades worked out. Then in B, I took those 2 longs. The first one worked out. It came down. I didn't take it up here. When it came down above the opening, went back up, took that off, and then when it came down again, I took another one, but a lot smaller because I didn't like the fact that we came back down to it. And obviously, it went out, got below the opening, and stopped the one-time framing up with the reversal bar. So I lost very small on that one. Then I took a short in C because we had single prints initially. Now, here's another telling sign that sellers were a little stronger than we might think. C took out B's low right away with single prints. So I took a short against both the single prints and the opening. That turned out to be a winner, even though we eventually filled those single prints. Filled the single prints. D period. Took another short. We had singles. We had singles in C. So we had singles in B that filled. We had singles in C that filled, but not in D period. So I took a nice short in D period a couple of times against the singles, and I thought we might fill the gap. Got close to it, but didn't happen. Not until the last time frame we did that. But that was a winning trade. Then in E period. E came, couldn't take out C's low, or was barely there. Let me see. I'll tell you exactly. E did not take out C's low by a tick. So we had a weak low. I was like, you know what? This is more just weak longs getting out in B, C, D, I think the singles get filled. I took a long, rode it right up to where we filled the singles. That was a good trade. Then I took a long when I popped H looking for an afternoon rally high. So I popped H. We popped H, G, and E's high. It was very methodical. We couldn't get above the opening. So after I got out of that long, I actually took a short right away, thinking that I's the afternoon rally high. Now I was wrong, but only by 10 cents. And I made very, very nice trades on shorts in I, J, K. I thought rolled over a couple of times. Same with J, back to POC. K, popped the top here. Excuse me. But failed immediately at the opening. I reshorted it, rode that down, did it again in L, looking for POC, got that. And then in M period, M tried. Once M period, I told the room I thought maybe we would hold C, E, and F's low. Once that did not hold, then filling the gap was definitely in the cards. And by the way, when we were up here, I said this, I still thought the odds, when we were in I, J, K, and L's high, even though we got to the opening, we're battling the opening, I said I thought the odds were still very good that we would trade back down. Now, I didn't know if we would take out, I said I didn't think we'd take out the high or the low of the day, but if I had to pick one, I certainly thought the low of the day was in play rather than the high because of where the high volume nodes were, where the POC was, and everything else. I did think we would fill out in L and M to get our B shape, which we basically have. It's basically a B shape for long liquidation. And many of the traders in the room took advantage of that as we rode shorts down. Once M took out C and E's low, we continually shorted it. Each time it came down, we took it off, went up, shorted it again, looking for the gap fill, which it did. So an excellent day again in CamelbackTrading.org's room. But not only did we get the gap, we got the price probe from yesterday also. All right, destinations for Monday. First one will be D's low. Now, we closed at 312.23, but just like we closed here, and I said we don't know if the price probe is accepted, and it certainly was accepted this morning. We won't know till Monday morning if D's low is accepted or not. 312.04 is your price probe. Then the POC was low at 10 cents in that last time frame, 313.61 9 wide, so it got lowered from F's high. Then the afternoon rally high, 314.40, and that's a very visual area. Last week's high was 314.50. They capped it, the sellers, the bears. They wouldn't let us get above it. That was another visual point to take a short. Then we have 315.70, today's high and weekly high, and then filling the gap from June 11, 318.22. We only took 10 ticks off of that gap. It was 262 points. It's now 252 points. Then we have today's low now on the downside, 311.51. 11 wide at 310.45. Afternoon pullback low. H and K's low of 310.30, and then 309.07 was yesterday's low, and then 307.92 the price probe from June 30th. So let's go to the charts. All right. So 2 days into the month, and it looked like the bulls were going to absolutely start getting their groove on. We got above March's high of 313.84. Everything was looking beautiful. We got into that other gap, and then lo and behold, we come in. Now, it's only 2 days into the month. We're still one time framing up for 2 months. Yes, you would love to stay above March's high of 313.84, but it's still in distance. The monthly is still healthy. Weekly. This is the one for a little cause of concern if you're a bull. A little bit. Now, initially I was going to say 6 week balance, but I'm going to narrow it down to 3 weeks, the last 3 weeks. So this week, we took out the inside week to the downside by a little bit and failed. Then we took out the inside week to the upside by $1.20, but immediately failed. So all we are is in a 3-week balance. The high of it is now this week's high of 315.70. The low of it is 296.74. So here's what, as far as I'm concerned, the bulls need to do. We got 3-week balance high. We stretched it today and closed back into it pretty damn good, right? 315.70. We closed at 312.23. Balance rules. You stretch the top of a balance slightly, come back into it. Your ultimate destination is the bottom of the balance. So, if the bulls do not get their act together Monday, Tuesday at the latest to start getting back to the top of this 3-week balance, and you start getting accepted more and more into the meat of it, well, then your ultimate destination, folks, is going to be the bottom of it. So that's why there's a little cause for concern, at least in the weekly. And then the daily, same thing. We are one-time framing up 3 days. Gap is no longer my focus because the gap was filled. This gap, the island top, right? We filled this one. This one is still very much alive. We've gotten into it a couple of times, right? And cannot get much out. They've held very strongly. But the reason I'm saying it's very like the weekly, here is 315.64. Today, 315.70. So yes, we're one-time framing up 3 days. But we failed. We stretched this balance now slightly. Again, if the bulls can't take out today's high, which is a balance high on basically the weekly and a daily, well, then you're going to start getting pit stops. So if the bears are able to take out today's low, well, then you start getting pit stops. 309, 304, and then ultimately test the bottom of the balance. So no cause for alarm just yet for the bulls. But if they start failing early next week to get any kind of traction back to today's high and the weekly high, then there's going to be some cause for concern. Volume stunk today, 68 million. So again, they tried to go higher. The volume was poor. Anyway, we had really, really a good week in the trading room. A lot of new people, a lot of young people. I love it. Bunch of college guys. It's great teaching anybody of any age. The room is flourishing, growing. Come check us out, camelbacktrading.org. Have a safe and happy 4th. Have a great weekend, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.